Hello everyone, welcome to your reading for September 21st and September 22nd. This is for Monday and Tuesday, and I'm using two different decks. I'll be using 3 cards from Sonia Choquette's Ask Your Guides Oracle, and I'll also be using 3 cards for Tuesday's reading from the Magical Times Empowerment deck. But first we're going to be starting with the Ask Your Guides deck, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and show you all 3 cards because they're very closely related to each other. So let's just start with the first card, Death. So in seeing the Death card, it can mean a literal death, or it can mean a death as far as a major change or transformation in your life or some kind of ending. So don't be afraid when you see the Death card. It doesn't mean that someone around you is going to die. It just means that for some people this can be a transition, like where some part of their life ends, but every ending is also a new beginning. So in that respect, the Death card can be very positive. But I'm seeing the Death card with the Loss card. So for me, I feel like because of the Judgment card in the middle, that some people are maybe blaming others for a certain loss that they have in their lives. And this doesn't have to be a physical loss like a person. This can be the loss of a job. It can be the loss of something dear to you. Obviously, this loss is something that is really important to you, because I feel like there's a lot of judgment and blame and criticism here, and this might be where some of you are blaming yourselves, or maybe you're blaming other people. But going back to the Death card, I do feel like for some people this might be about some of you who are suffering from the loss of a loved one. Maybe you are still in grief, and it really hurts to lose someone that you care about. And the truth is that you never get over it, and you never stop missing them, but you just eventually find a way to cope. You find a way to go about your day-to-day life, because life goes on whether or not we want it to. And losing someone is the most difficult and traumatic experience that we can have in life. And if you're going through this right now, just be patient with yourself. And I feel like this would be a time to really pray, if you are someone who prays, to meditate, to surround yourself with people who love you. But I feel like the worst thing you could do is to judge anyone, or to criticize anyone, or to blame anyone for this loss. Sometimes when we lose people that we love, I've heard of people blaming the deceased person for leaving them, and they might feel a little angry and resentful, like, why didn't you take better care of yourself so you could have lived longer? Why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that? And sometimes we end up blaming ourselves for the loss of a loved one, or you end up blaming someone else. But if you don't begin the healing process, if you don't let go of any judgment and blame, then you're never going to heal. And you're going to continue suffering and suffering. I know exactly how it feels. And just know that if you've lost people, they're not really dead. They've just moved on to another form of existence. So if there are things that you wanted to say, go ahead and say them as if they were right there with you. Because on some level, they can hear you. But the worst thing that you can do, again, is continue to blame and judge and criticize. The best way to heal and to move on from any loss, be it death, or be it the loss of a job or a friend, the best thing that you can do here is to let go of blame and criticism. I wish you all the best of luck. Alright, so let's move on to Tuesday's reading, and for this reading I'll be using the Magical Times Empowerment deck. And just as I did in the previous reading, I'm going to show you all 3 cards. Our first card is Discernment. See the truth of the situation, use common sense, and do not be fooled. Pay attention, your intuition knows. And rebirth, no matter what happens, you can find new wings. Rise from the past, accept the positive change that is coming. And nature, sometimes all you need is to go outside, breathe the fresh air to remember who you are and where you want to be. I'm going to begin with the first card, discernment. And it's really interesting that you see the lines here, do not be fooled, pay attention, your intuition knows, because if you remember in the previous reading, I believe either for Saturday or Sunday, we also had cards from the Archangel Michael deck that was asking everyone to learn how to trust your intuition. And here this card is basically saying the same thing. So I feel like a lot of you are getting signs about questions that you have in life, or about things that are confusing to you, or people or things that are not good for you. I feel like your angels are trying to clue you in so that you can sort of move away from these people or these things, because they are probably not a part of your path, and they're probably contributing to a lot of stress and unhappiness in your life. But in seeing the rebirth card, this is like the phoenix, and yes, it represents an ending, but it also represents a new beginning. And I really like the last line, that is, accept the positive change that is coming. So I feel like when you are able to use your discernment and you're able to see the truth for what it is, you're able to see a situation for what it is going to cause a lot of you to make some really big changes in your lives. And I feel like that is what the angels are trying to move you to right now. They're seeing that certain things are no longer working in your life, or maybe you have a higher purpose, or maybe there's someone better suited for you, a better friend, a more fulfilling relationship, a job that you could be much happier in. But it's going to be necessary for you to recognize that something is no longer working in order for you to make these changes. And again, these changes will be positive changes, even if they don't feel like it, because sometimes when we are able to see people for who they really are, or a situation for what it really is, it can be very painful. It can be devastating. And I feel like some of you might really be hurt or disappointed when you can finally see the truth and when you see people for who they really are. But it's going to result in big changes in your life, or it should result in big changes in your life. And again, these changes will likely lead to more happiness and fulfillment. And this is where the nature card comes into play, because sometimes all you need is to go outside, as the card says, and it will help you to really stay grounded. And it'll help you, for those of you who are afraid to make changes, I feel like being out in nature will help you to gain a more positive perspective. Nature naturally carries a really high vibration, so it will raise your vibration. It will help you to stay grounded. It will help you to stay more focused. And it will also help you to see the situations in your life for what they are, to see the truth behind anything that was confusing to you. If you've had questions, I feel like your intuition already knows deep down inside. You already know the truth, and you're just looking for confirmation. You're looking outside of yourself when you already know. And I feel like the angels are just saying, go ahead and make these changes that you know you need to make in life. And these changes might be difficult, they might be scary, but they will be for the best. Alright everyone, that is all I have for you for today. I hope this reading was helpful. Thanks so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you on Wednesday.